So we got a reaction from Shauna to these bars from Eminem on Animals Part 1. When I lost proof, couldn't explain how that devil came down. Then in one fell he swooped. Look at how foul he stooped. Had to throw in that towel, regroup, like Shauna, still that mouthy youth. And before we get to Sean's reaction to this, including an update on Animals Part 1 that shows someone in either JID's team or Eminem's team is beginning to see the mistakes they made initially with this release. We also got more on Animals Part 1, where perhaps Rory and Mal spoke too soon, just like everyone else, as they were also shocked by JID/his team's decision to cut the song from the upcoming album. Although it is hard to tell how they really feel about this decision, as you'd see, and at the latter part of the video, we got some more that shows perhaps the first alleged victim of Diddy, who isn't disappointed by the not guilty verdicts on the serious charges compared to the others we've covered on this channel. And starting with Shauna, he took to IG a few hours ago to post his reaction to getting name dropped by Lil Wayne and also on the latest verse from Eminem.
Right, the first walkout was when I was 16 years old, did a walkout. First kickboxing fight, dropped the world, Eminem, Lil Wayne. Random, decide I'm gonna beat rap.
And of course, in these bars, Eminem was comparing Sean losing the title and having to regroup, comparing it to how he was affected by addiction and the loss of his best friend that led to a hiatus period between 2004 and 2009, a period when he nearly lost his life, had to regroup, and returned in 2009 with Relapse. And this blew up under Sean's post. Sugar Sean is the generation's Conor McGregor, and some have expanded. You gotta redo this with the braids, laughing emoji, congratulations. Those are the best rappers to be name dropped by, completely legendary. And moving on, the conversations of Animals Part 1 getting left out of JID's upcoming album hit the Rory and Mal podcast.
So the Eminem song's not making an album?
No, which I was like happy about.
I know why you're happy about it, but
because I love Jid's discography, and even though I get it, Jid is a rapper.
I'm trying to save you.
That's just not for me.
Okay, cool, great. What I'm saying is this. Have we ever seen a situation where Eminem gives somebody a verse and it doesn't make the album?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's what I'm talking to, Rory. I'm not talking to your preference and what you want to hear at this stage of your life. I'm not talking to that.
But my preference is to keep it off the fucking album.
Okay,
that's my preference.
I got that.
And that seems to be their preference too.
No, listen, but this is why I want to ask the bigger question here, because JID may have just made history with this move. Have we ever seen Eminem give an artist a verse and they leave it off of their album?
No.
I don't know is all I'm saying. I don't know. Wait, did the verse that Eminem gave Conway, did that end up on the album?
Bang featuring Eminem, yeah.
So yeah.
And first of all, at that point, I think Conway was still signed to Shady. You think they're going to allow a Shady artist to not put their Eminem verse on their album?
Well, this will be the only verse that I probably can think of from Eminem that I couldn't remember if it was on the album or not. This may be the first time that Eminem's given an artist a verse and it's not on the album.
Yeah, I thought initially before I'd read the Jid's post of saying like, here's the records that aren't making it, they'll be on DSP soon, here's YouTube. I thought that was the second single of the album. I was like, oh, offset record right to the Eminem joint, and thinking something is the second single and then finding out minutes later that it's not even making the album was like, okay, cool.
No, I'm
fine by me.
I just would like to, I need more information on how that conversation went though. Him and his people, like, yo, listen, thanks for the verse, but we're not gonna put it on the project.
There's maybe Big Sean?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think that's
this is new territory right here. This is like Eminem first of all, getting the Eminem verse is a big deal.
Huge
and
deal.
Then you saying, yo, nah, we cool. It didn't really fit the aesthetic of what we trying to, however you dress it up on the email. Yeah. It didn't fit the aesthetic.
On the email.
Whatever it is, because you're not going to call him and say it's not making the album. You're going to send that in the email. I don't know, man. This is a bold move right here.
And on top of that, like, of course, when M does features, he raps for a while, but he rapped for a long fucking time on this.
Or is this a world where M didn't clear it?
They wouldn't have put it out.
Yeah.
Like, JID is with a major. Like, that
Eminem verse being left off your album after he graciously sent it to you. That's a bold move is all I'm saying.
It said Animal Part 1. So like, what if Animal Part 2 is on the album, and it's like featuring like Ian.
If I had a Jay-Z verse,
Bro, if
that'd
you
be
have
the
a
only song.
if you have a Jay-Z
That'd be
verse,
the album.
whatever, that album is coming out. They are making sure that rolls out of the door. There's no way you have a Jay-Z verse and it's your single and then the album doesn't come out. That's not happening.
Emil, did she ever put out an album? She got a bunch of Jay verses.
Yeah, but that's different. That was his artist.
And boy, this sparked reactions all over the place, as while some are asking, where was this reaction when Kid Cudi had an Eminem feature but dropped it as a single rather than put it on Man on the Moon 3? This is stupid, loudly crying and laughing emojis. And to be honest, to answer the question fairly, unlike Kid Cudi, JID went on social media to start the conversation when he revealed that the songs on the Prelox couldn't make the album. That's why it is different this time around, because the artist started the conversation, not the fans, not the podcasters. And it has been interesting going through the various reasons why fans believe Animals Part 1 didn't make the album. Think JID removed this track because many would have been talking about M's verse instead of the album, which is happening to the Prelox laughing emoji. Everyone is talking about who had the best verse, completely forgetting that there were 3 other songs. Perhaps a similar situation to Renegade from the Blueprint. That's pretty much what everyone is talking about to this day, and some believe it was cut in order to promote the standard album. JID's last few albums had concepts. Maybe a song where MFers are just rapping with no clear direction didn't fit that. Also, isn't this a good move by JID? His album doesn't drop for another month. You dropped the song with Eminem beforehand to get more eyes on your album. So as you can see, it is all over the place, and some even believe that JID didn't put it on the main album because he doesn't want people to say that a 53-year-old Eminem washed him on his own album. And some users even ignored the discussion to take aim at Rory. White dudes pretending they don't like the white rapper act is getting old, and I could make a whole documentary about this phenomenon, but that's a topic for another day. But long story short, it is a way to fit in, if you know what I mean. And back on topic, I've seen people talk about how Animals Part 1 means the Part 2 with Eminem will make the album, and sorry to burst your bubble, but JID already shot that down in a tweet that's now been deleted when a user asked if there was another verse from M on the main album, and he straight up said, nope, I got 2 of the best fast rappers of all time, LOL. And that led to further speculations about Twista or Busta, and users have brought up other rappers who got verses from Eminem that didn't make the album. 50 has M verses we all would die to hear. Lloyd Banks has 2 songs from Hunger for More 2 that didn't make the album. Royce has removed Eminem features off his own albums before, so he was probably first to do it, I think. However, this is probably the first time where the artist described the songs as throwaways that couldn't make the final album, as far as I know. And it took until Wednesday for the teams responsible for these decisions, JID's team, I'd presume, to get their act together as they finally made Animals a single on DSPs, and you can now find it on Eminem's page on Spotify and YouTube Music as the latest single from the rapper. So the people who follow Eminem on these platforms who aren't active on social media pretty much just found out he dropped new music with JID after this update. And personally, I just got the notification of the song today because I'm subscribed to Eminem on YouTube Music, so there's that. And I'm wondering how this will work when it comes to Billboard and RIAA numbers, because sales from a deluxe edition are usually included with the standard album, and one has to wonder if the sales from the Prelox will also count towards the standard album numbers. And moving on, we got to hear from Lil Rod, who sued Diddy in February 2024, just months after Cassie's initial lawsuit that got the ball rolling. And compared to the other alleged victims who've been disappointed with the not guilty verdicts for the serious charges, we got Lil Rod, who looks to be the first alleged victim, with a positive response to the news. And as you'd see, he's just glad that finally Diddy is now a felon after allegedly escaping the law for 3 decades.
Little Rod, thank you so much for being on the program. That is a great hat. The floor is yours in your reaction to this Diddy trial ruling that he is found guilty on 2 charges, but the big charges he's been acquitted on.
Well, I'll say I'm still processing it, but it's important to know that it's still a win. It's a win-win. Sean Combs has, for over 3 decades, been able to escape and not answer to any crimes that he's done. And I've successfully been able to make it where he has to answer to some crime. He's now a 2-time felon. He's a sex offender. And the fight is not over. I'm hearing that there might be more charges coming to him. And also, I personally know that there are a lot of evidence that they did not bring to this case. So I'm hearing that they're talking about, bringing more charges on later. So I trust the justice system. I think we just need to wait and see what this team is going to do, despite what everybody else is thinking.
There are a lot of lawsuits against Diddy out right now. It's too many to count. You have one of them. Can you explain your lawsuit against Diddy?
Yeah, because it's an ongoing investigation. I'm a decline on that one. They put a gag order on all the attorneys, not really the clients, but I want to respect this. We're in a deep fight. It's not an easy fight, and I'm gonna decline that one.
And while some users agree, if what Lil Rod is saying is true, Diddy is far from done. Round 2 is coming. However, Lil Rod also made some wild claims about how he wouldn't be surprised if Diddy tampered with one of the jurists in this case.
Been found guilty, of course, of prostitution, violations of what's called the Mann Act. But maybe you could detail what you've witnessed, and maybe what more charges the federal government could bring here. Because Lil Rod, most people are like, wow, he's probably going to go free here. That's what Dershowitz just said.
Yeah, I doubt if he's going to go totally free. But in the same token, this is not a surprise to me. I mean, we've seen him do just poof, make anything just disappear that happens. You know what I'm saying? But this guy he's been allegedly a foreman for over 30 years, and he's gotten away with a lot of things. He's got power, got a lot of money, and he's been doing this. God knows who he knows. If you look at it, the prosecutors had attorneys, but he had 2 attorneys per their 1 attorney. So for example, they had 5 attorneys, he had 10. And if you look in that courtroom, a lot of the attorneys that he had represented some of the biggest mob gangsters or etc. Mark Garagos, who's I personally seen, I was there the first 2 days of the court. I seen him run into and talk to Puff's attorneys, then run right outside and talk to TMZ, which was helping to shape the narrative to the public inside the courtroom. So it's so many things that I was seeing happening that was just like nobody else can do. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the jurors would tamper with, and we just don't know about it. Again, I'm still processing everything that has happened, is happening, and is going to happen. We all don't know, but what we do know is he is a 2-time convicted felon. He's a sex offender.
So you're saying that based on your knowledge of how Diddy operates, and you said that he threatened your children and yourself, he may have gotten to the jury and may have tampered with the jury.
It's a high possibility. One of the investigators called my kid mother, and my 8-year-old at the time picked up the phone, and he was talking to my 8-year-old. However, he was also trying to coerce my baby mother into turning against myself. So I'm saying firsthand, I've experienced on how this guy gets in very dirty.
But this isn't surprising. According to many users on social media, sounds like the usual playbook. Power, money, and influence unrig the system already. And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.